Miville-Dechêne. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to support Senator Omidvar's motion that the government list the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist group. To begin with, I'd like to say that Senator Omidvar spoke last week with a great deal of intelligence and eloquence of this regime and Iran, where she has lived. I therefore agree with her. Due to the group's violations of citizens' rights and women's rights, and to its clampdown on protesters, the Canadian government should use this designation of this terrorist group to increase pressure on the Iranian regime. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps was formed in the wake of the 1979 Islamic Revolution. It is one of the most powerful paramilitary organizations in the Middle East. It has influence over nearly half of Iran's economy and is also active in Europe and the United States. In 2020, the Tony Blair Institute uncovered training manuals used by the Revolutionary Guard Corps to indoctrinate recruits. The manuals promote a violent and extremist ideology that portrays political opponents of the regime as apostates. So far, only the United States has declared the Revolutionary Guards a terrorist entity. Parliamentarians in Europe and Britain are also lobbying for the same goal. For its part, Canada has opted for a strategy of gradual sanctions rather than blacklisting the entire Revolutionary Guard. Since last October, the government has banned nearly 1,000 senior Iranian officials from entering the country. More sanctions have followed, but without invoking Section 83.05 of the Criminal Code, which allows judges to order the listing of this entity as a terrorist group. Currently, over 70 organizations are designated as terrorists under this provision, which allows the court to order the seizure and freezing of certain assets. Among the designated entities is the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Al-Quds Brigade, the clandestine unit that provides arms and funding to extremist groups. In justifying Canada's policy, Justice Minister David Lametti explained that the Revolutionary Guard Corps is part of the military in a country where military service is mandatory. He expressed concern that the use of Section 83.05 of the Criminal Code would be unfair, as Canada might, in doing so, have targeted opponents of the Iranian regime who fled to Canada as ordinary conscripts. In practice, however, the designation would mostly affect high-ranking officials who hold assets, may perpetrate interference activities in Canada, or attempt to cross our border. The House of Commons has already passed a motion on this issue in 2018. Unfortunately, no further action was taken. It is time for the Senate to speak out as well, in the hopes that Parliament will speak with one voice and call on the government to recognize the reality as it is. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps is a terrorist entity and must be treated as such. Thank you.